second. You should be able to see my slides right now, my PowerPoint presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. So without further ado, over to you, Lisa. Thank you.
Perfect, great. Thank you for the introduction, and hello everyone, and also welcome from my side, wherever you are. I'm based in Vienna, Austria. It's lovely outside. It's 32 degrees today and sunshine. And there's a lot of people joining, and thank you for everyone that's joining on a Saturday and having a day in, even though it might be really nice outside. And thank you for taking the time. I will be focusing on document generation today. And I will first introduce you on why documents are really important, especially when it comes to retail, why documents are a big part of the customer experience and why it's often overlooked so far. So I'll talk about that, then I'll introduce you to Docs 42, so what we actually do, and I'm going to show you some live examples. The live examples will not be from D365 Retail and Commerce, but it will be from D365 CE, FO, BC, and then if we still have time, Power Automate and also SharePoint, because Docs 42 integrates with all of them. And then when it comes, it's Retail and Commerce, it's a new product. So CDS is like the key phrase there. We integrate with across the whole Dynamics platform. And I'm happy that I can show you some possibilities on how we can make your life easier with document generation and why it's so essential. Great. I'm going to switch off the camera so you can see the whole screen then. Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to post them anytime throughout the meeting in the chat. Either I'm going to answer them right away, or if we still have time towards the end. Switching off the camera and jumping into the presentation. So before I get started with the topic, we just want to emphasize, I wanted to emphasize that we really love to always being part of the community. So I think we've joined the community probably like late 2017 or 2018, somewhere during that time, and we've been part in a lot of events already. Back then it was still possible to have a lot of like on-site events and not just purely offline, not just purely online. And I just wanted to share some memories. Like this year in London, we even got to meet Darth Vader. That was really exciting. So we joined in London, and then last year we joined in Munich, and then there will be like a new event coming up for especially focused on the German market in September. We're going to look forward to do that as well. So this was in Munich last year, then this was in Brussels, really big event. We joined in Dublin also last year, where we were there. That was in Zurich, some other picture from Munich. And then this was in Amsterdam. So we've been part of the community for a long time, and it's always good to be there to show you how the importance of document automation and how we can help you make your life a bit easier with that. But actually, why I'm showing you those pictures is maybe you've noticed those pictures have something in common, because here we can see a Star Wars Lego set here. Then on that picture, you can see a Lego set, and down there as well. For one side, we consider ourselves as kind of like a Lego piece that's like fitting onto like the Dynamics platform, a Dynamics project. We're kind of like the piece of document generation, and we integrate, we add on to the value of Dynamics. And on the other hand, I have a small surprise for you. So we always have like a Lego raffle. So by joining today, you have the possibility to win a Lego set with us. And how we made the prize throughout the raffle today is that if you just go and visit our website, I can then later on also post the link in the chat. And if you just fill in the contact form, maybe just leave a small note that you've joined today's event, that you would like to win the Lego, you enter the competition, and we'll let you know afterwards who won the Lego, and then we will send it to you. It's always big fun to actually build those Lego sets to work with that. So good luck for that. But good. So much about the introduction. Let me now start with the content. So what have I prepared for you today? First of all, I'm going to focus a bit on CX, so customer experience and documents, how does that fit together? And then document automation, especially in retail. What's the importance of that and how is it done right now? And what are the challenges and possibilities that are there? Then I'm going to introduce you to Docs42, what we're doing, and then I have prepared a lot of live demos. So I'll show you a sales proposal and a sales quote from CE. I'll show you how we integrate with Power Automate, the template design of automated documents, how that works, a sales invoice from finance and operations, a job quote from BC, and then if there's still enough time, I could also show how we integrate with SharePoint as well. Good, so let's get started. Let's think about a retail business and let's think about our customers. We have customers that in retail and they're very individual. Everyone has individual needs. Everyone is interested in individual products. There might be individual sizes. Someone prefers like a different color when it comes to fashion, for example. Like someone prefers to have like organic cotton in their products they're purchasing and so on. So we have individual needs for our customers. I think that's quite clear. And marketing has also seen that. And marketing has also committed to do a lot of targeted advertising around that. Then, on the other hand, there are the customers. On the other hand, there's the competition. The competition is vast. There's lots of retail companies out there. There's lots of e-commerce stores, online shopping. There's Amazon. There are smaller shops. They're in like niche products. So there's a huge competition there. And on the other hand, you have customers that have individual needs. Then I already said marketing perspective, which company would miss that opportunity and would still treat all customers the same in 2020. Let's think about social media marketing. You have like so various targeting options. Let's think about which products may be suggested on your website for the customer to purchase. So really no one would think of treating each and every customer the same in 2020. So customer experience is not only a buzzword, it's essential if you really want to serve your customers and if you really want to be ahead of the competition. I think that should be quite clear to everyone, and I think it is quite clear to everyone. However, one aspect that's really neglected in a lot of companies is that documents are part of the customer experience. So documents are really often overlooked, even though we as a customer, documents could add a lot of value to us. For example, think about it. Have you ever received a document that added value to you? Or when was the last time you received a document? Did it add value? Was it, for example, an invoice? Like, for example, from your Amazon purchase, maybe not the most value-adding document there is out there, but also an order confirmation that was generated from an FO system, for example, or from BC. Did it look nice? Not really. So I thought about what's like the key things, what's like really important for a document to add value, to add on to that customer experience. And first of all, a document should be individual and personalized. It should contain our name. Yes, that's the very least. But then please, a document shouldn't start with, or like, it doesn't add value to me if it starts with dear sir or madam. It really should start with my name, and then in the text, like if there's like some text blocks in there, why is it so generic? Why is it not like really personalized to my case and what's important to me? So a document that adds value is individual and it's personalized. Then of course it's super important to have an error-free document. So we don't want to receive a document that was meant for someone else, that has a typo in the name, that has a typo in the, or that has like some different products that not actually the products that I've selected. It should be error-free. I think that's clear. Then a document should be appealing, and that's a next problem a lot of companies are facing, especially when it comes to out-of-the-box document generation from various systems. For example, let's speak about dynamics. SSRS reports, SSRS created documents are not the most appealing one. However, if we want to add to the customer experience of our customers, and if we want to, for example, increase sales also through documents, a document has to be appealing. And then, of course, value adding. That's something that's on top to a nice looking error-free and personalized document. Why can't, for example, an invoice for me or like an offer or something, why can't it have like also a small add on it that makes me likely to purchase more, or that I have like a discount on like further purchases I'm gonna make. So you can add further value exactly tailored to what the customer has just purchased from you, something like that. That's like those 4 points. This is what I consider to be really a value-adding customer experience ready document. However, unfortunately, we're in 2020, but it's still not the case for most companies. So let's look at the reality of how documents nowadays look like. First example, it's an ESTA, so for the American visa, a document, and that's really a document we received. It just has that information, nothing else. No welcome to the United States, no like enjoy your time. It's really just blank space. Where does that add value? There's so much opportunity that's gone missing, like opportunity for advertising, for partnering, for welcoming someone, for like having a barcode or something. So much that has gone missing by just having an empty space there. Then another one that's like a ticket for a business trip actually, and I think it's quite obvious that it's a business trip because it goes from Vienna to Zurich. It's on, I think it's on a Tuesday, and it goes at 6:55 in the morning. So this is a very frequented route for business travels. However, and something they did nicely here is that they've included some advertising here into the document. However, it's generic because unfortunately the document is in German, but they've included an advertisement for a picture book, and that's something that's relevant for private travel, and it's not really relevant for business travel. So why don't you like insert some advertisement for business travel here? So that's another opportunity that's gone missing. And another example I have here, that's another boarding pass that's from Air France. And first of all, blank space, once again, opportunity gone missing. And secondly, they do have some advertisement up here, but first of all, someone just stick the baggage tag on there. And secondly, it's the ad is in French, and it's quite obvious they have my data. The system has my data, and it's quite obvious that I speak German. Why do I get the ad in French? So there's so much that's gone missing, and there's so much opportunity that would help, like even increase sales and add value to customers with documents. So that's the reality. How? So let's also show examples on how could it look like if we really added value to our documents, if we have focus on the customer experience. For example, this is a sample document we've created, we've set up, and this is for a travel ticket. And this is going from Zurich to Vienna. And first of all, and most people will actually look at that document electronically. So on their phone, maybe on the way when they travel by train. So first of all, for example, here, the small space was used, like all the information is up there. And then we have like even a Google Maps integration. So then you can follow the link on here, and then you can look everything up on Google Maps, where exactly is the train station where you will arrive. And the second thing is down here, for example, we have an advertisement for the zoo in Vienna because the person traveled to Vienna, so they get a discount for that. If the person had traveled somewhere else to Zurich, they would get an advertisement, for example, for some restaurant in Zurich. So really opportunity that was used here. Another example is, for example, an invoice. So it's like a mobile invoice here. So first of all, normal invoice, appealing looking with the logo and everything up there, nice corporate identity. Down here, we have a QR code that's leading to the payment details, how you can pay for your invoice. And then here also space is used, a special offer for a person, because we know which smartphone that person has. If they've purchased it, for example, with the contract, we know when they would be likely to purchase a new one. And then we can add some information on that, or select a small advertisement on that to the document as well. So that's just some examples. I have very much focused on customer experience, but documents in retail, it's customer experience is very important, but of course there's some other important aspects as well. So there's some legal aspects you have to think about as well when you think about document generation. Like, for example, now in Germany, the VAT was changed, for example. And that needs to be reflected in documents as well. Or think about order documents. If you have like international customers, if you generate quotes, there certainly needs to be different information on a document if someone's sitting in Italy or someone is sitting in the US, for example. So personalization, document generation is something that's really important, especially in high transaction businesses and like industries like for example, retail. Good. And now let's have a look on how and with what technical options document generation is handled right now in companies. So first of all, when I speak about document automation, I speak about structured documents. And structured documents are documents that contain somewhere structured data from any system. So that could be, here I have my SharePoint logo, so I could have some information or some sub-documents on SharePoint. I could be using then the whole Dynamics platform. We're talking retail today, but it could be CE, it could be BC, it could be finance and operations, or it could be data coming from a SQL database, Excel, web services, and so on. Somewhere structured data that needs to be put into documents. And documents are created in dozens day by day across a whole company. Like some examples, which I've shown you the travel ticket, I've shown you the invoice. It could be order confirmation, it could be a quote, it could be even a PowerPoint presentation, like an investment proposition, it could be some sales reports, it could be emails. So really documents are needed day by day and are created in tons in documents. But sometimes customers don't even know that there is like some possibilities and some options out there to make document automation really efficient and to help the company streamline their processes. So what's usually happening in companies, how documents are generated in real business life, we have three scenarios here. So first of all, and what happens many times, is that companies use copy-paste. We always say that copy-paste is our biggest competitor because it's flexible and individual, and people on a daily basis just copy-paste the documents. It can be quick, however, it's costly, it's cumbersome, it's error-prone. Think about quotes that are set up, and then there's an error like in the amount. And if it's a binding quote, then you really have to sell your product or your solution or your service for that amount. Slow, it's only 9 to 5, and it means stress. So companies are realizing that there needs to be some kind of like automation to help with the document generation. And then the next step is, after copy-paste, how to automate its VBA and its app and its macros and so on. That is, once again, flexible and individual, and you do have some automation there and you reduce the errors. So nice for that. However, if you're in a high transaction business, the numbers are low still, and it's only on the client, so you don't really have that much of a performance. Plus, you need to have a plan what you do if the person that has set up the macro leaves the company. Otherwise, it's like a dead end, and who will be able to manage it and work with it. So that's some limitations there. And then we have the document generation from the systems. That's like the standard SSIS, the real heavy, big application. We do have server-side automation there, and it runs 24/7. So if you have an online shop, you need something like that. You have performance. However, it means a lot of programming, a lot of resources used for simple changes. Like, once again, back to the VAT adjustment now in Germany. You have to really program everything to make those changes reflected in your documents. Or if you change your logo or your corporate identity, something like that, it means a lot of programming. It takes a lot of time. It's not flexible and individual, and the corporate design is by IT. And what I said before, there's so much opportunity gone missing by not having nice looking and appealing documents. So that's the limitations when you work with SSRS. Now let's have a closer look about the technical options on the Microsoft platform there is. So there are some technical options out there. Like, for example, if we think of Microsoft Office, if we think of the mail merge, standalone, it's flexible. For small cases and scenarios, it might be fine, and it's no code. However, you can't have many data sources, and server-side automation, forget about it. And the more we move down, for example, apps, also like Power Automate document generation, it is flexible and individual. You're able to design your documents in Word. However, many data sources, forget about it. And also like 24/7 performance, it's quite tough for that. For SQL Server reporting, we can see we have the data sources and the server-side automation, but the rest is missing. So for us, for Docs42, it was important for us to give a platform where we cover like all aspects of document generation and where we make it easier for like everyone involved. So we have a standalone application that allows for flexible and individual document generation, which is no code, with attractive document design. So to use all your all the opportunities that are there, and server-side automation and many data sources. That was very important for us too. Good. So, and then a bit more about the document generation. So a little bit about the process and the idea behind Docs42. In general, what we found out when we when we are involved in the document generation projects, there's usually three parties involved. There's the IT, there's the business, and the marketing. The IT is there because they know the data structure. They know which Dynamics platform, for example, is used, which Dynamics application. Are we using Power Automate, SharePoint? Where do we integrate the data? And the business and the marketing, they are the ones that should actually be able to work with the documents because they know the business logic. The business knows, okay, which information do we need to have like in a quote or in an invoice that goes to Germany, which other information needs to be somewhere else. And the marketing knows about the corporate identity, the corporate color, what initiatives there are. So those are two parties that are very important when it comes to documents, but they're rarely able to sit like on the table with IT and to work on document automation projects, because if there's a project, there's usually a lot of like programming involved, and the program is very SSIS focused, where business users can't really work with that. For Docs42, our approach is to have like all three of them sit on a table, sit together, and because our design is based on Microsoft 365, so Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, we allow business and marketing to design templates and documents themselves and to do easy and fast adjustments whenever it's needed. And I will show you that in the live demos today as well, how that looks like with Docs42. So who are we and what do we do? So we are a document generation company. That's really our focus. We really focus and only do that. We're based in Vienna. We exist, I think, since 2011. serving around 365 customers at the moment and 90 integration partners that work with us. And for us, the design of complex documents is super important to us, and that it's easy and intuitive for business users. And then also our flexible integration. So we really follow Microsoft trends. For us, it's important that we integrate with the whole Microsoft suite and all the new products that are coming up, like retail and so on. So the flexible integration is super important for us. And yeah, we're headquartered in Vienna. Down below, you can see some of our reference customers. So basically, we do not only serve retail, but we're like cross industry. So we have like companies in every industry. But I brought you the further example today of some of our retail customers, so you can get an idea what retail customers are doing with Docs42. So, for example, Transgourmet, that's maybe some of you know them. They're like a whole food delivery, like a wholesaler. That's the word we're using. In Germany and Austria, they're very strong, and they use Docs42 to create business documents day by day, like in various scenarios, and using SharePoint, using Dynamics. And when they introduced Docs42, they've reached their break-even point after only 4 weeks, because first of all, they've missed a lot of opportunity before that, and secondly, they followed the manual approach before. So they had a lot of workforce working manually on their documents, which took a lot of time and resources that could be used somewhere else. That's why they've reached the break-even point really, really fast. And then Rewe, so if someone's joining from Germany today, they should be quite familiar with Rewe. They are like the biggest German supermarket. And what they are doing is they use Docs42 for all the internal orders, and they use it with Microsoft and with NAV, so from the NAV system. And so everything you can purchase in a Rewe supermarket in Germany was ordered with a document created by Docs42. So our document generation tool is used for critical documents, for critical reports. It can be used in a lot of like different scenarios and across retail. So that's orders. Then we could have invoices, we could have quotes, we could have presentations. So a lot of examples on that. And in the live demo, I'm going to show you some more too. Good. That's their scenario. So now let's have a look on how the design and how the work with Docs42 actually looks like, and what are some examples. So the template design is in Microsoft 365, and it can be Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So we have add-ins for there, and you can see here on the left-hand side, you can see a template like with some placeholders. We call them data fields, and on the right-hand side, you can find the generated documents. So we can see that we can not only integrate a textual data, but of course we can integrate pictures. We can integrate dynamic graphs. We can integrate dynamic tables with dynamic hyperlinks in the background. So here we have some hyperlinks. We can make some calculations. So it's very powerful. You have a lot of possibilities to make really powerful, nice looking, appealing documents with some logic, with conditions on there, with calculations, and so on. And all of that is done without programming. So it's very straightforward and easy and done in Microsoft Office. I'll show you that in the live demo as well. Especially when I think about retail, when I think about products that we can integrate, for example, dynamic tables and also pictures, and can be a big value added there. Then very important to such documents is, of course, the data integration, and that's possible without programming from any of the data sources you can see here. So you could start with a SQL database, with web services, with Excel, with SharePoint, XML JSON, and then of course, most important for today, which is Dynamics 365. And we integrate across the whole Dynamics platform. So CRM, BC, FO, everything can be online, it can be on-premise. And so we integrate with all of that. And the cool thing is here that within one document, you can have various data sources. So for example, if in BC, your job quotes, the project information comes from BC, but the product information comes from CE. That's no problem. So you can easily integrate the data from various sources without any problem at all. And this is where we focus the Microsoft trend, that you're not just using one standalone system anymore, but that you integrate across the whole platform. And that's possible there too, and very important for documents. Then the data, of course, integrated without programming. It's really, you set up your connections, you either connect with Azure Active Directory, you connect with a user, and then you select your entities, you select your reports, whatever you're working with, and then just with a simple drag and drop, you can insert data fields into the document. And the rest, the layouting and the design, is done with the usual Microsoft Office capabilities, like the Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint functionalities, you know. So it saves a lot of time as well when you introduce a tool for document generation, because the users are already used to it. They don't need to learn a completely new system. Then what's also very powerful opportunity is that you can use Excel as a calculation and charting engine. So for example, like in that example here, we have the share of sales by region. That's a simple diagram. We have a simple chart that we have in Excel. And then depending on what data we have at the time of creation of the document in our system, in CE, in FO, and so on, Docs42 will take the data and then regenerate the chart and then integrate it as a picture into our documents. So you can save a lot of time by also setting up dynamic diagrams as an example. And calculations can also be done with Excel. QR codes, barcodes can be added easily and of course without programming, and can lead to any data source you may have. In that case, it's for the payment, but it could be a website or anything else. Then, of course, the output management is also super important. So when we think about documents, we often think about just the PDF document or the Word, but Docs42 does so much more when it comes to the output. So, of course, you could just simply generate your documents. However, you could also generate it and then save it directly to SharePoint. Save it in Teams. So we also have a Teams integration. If you want to further like streamline your document generation processes, you can save all documents to Teams. You can generate from Teams. You can adjust in Teams. Everything's possible. Then sending documents by email, possible. Sign it before with DocuSign. You could also just generate a draft email and then adjust it later on so that it's even more personalized. A lot of possibilities there are. And then there's also the custom possibilities. So also when it comes to the input, you always have the possibility to add your custom and further data sources. And also for the output, you can always add some more custom data. Then Docs42 is available as on-premise and also in the cloud, Docs42 Online. And Docs42 Online, we work with Azure Active Directory. So we have full integration with the Microsoft like security, like there's no data ever visible on our server. We take the rights and the business logic and the rights of the user that's logged in, that's generating the documents. And you can generate up to 100,000 documents a month. And I hope that's invoices for you. So 100,000 invoices a month is a nice thing to do. Good. And then Docs42 also integrates with Power Automate. So I'm going to show you the example later on that, for example, when a quote is modified automatically, the Docs42 document is generated and stored to SharePoint once again. So of course, that's possible as well. At the moment, we are working with a custom connector. However, we have a premium connector coming up that you can use Docs42 really easy and simple, just with a few clicks with Power Automate from there. And now let's look at our live demo. So what's on our agenda today? We have, first of all, a sales proposal from Dynamics CE, then a sales quote from CE, which I'm going to show. I'm going to show you the Power Automate, the template design, how that works, the sales invoice, the BC job quote, and a SharePoint contract. And exactly in this moment, my mouse has stopped working for me. So I just need to make a quick change in my setup. And I'll be able to go ahead. So I'm going to start now with the live demo in CE, and I'm going to start with the sales proposal. Set that one up. How that could look like in a personalized way. So think about a scenario. In our scenario today, we are selling solar panels. And I'm working in sales, and my customer is Michaela Mitarbeiter. She works at IAS and at Adventure CO, and they want to receive a proposal that's really all about their project, that's containing all their needs, whatever information she has provided to us. So during the project, during like the conversations with Michaela, I've already put some of my information here in my system. So that's usually what a salesperson would do: the current situation, description and need, and the proposed solution. That's in there. But now I want to set up a proposal, like a PowerPoint presentation that makes her want to purchase our products as well. And usually what I would do is I would open my PowerPoint and then start from scratch, maybe get some slides where I have my corporate identity on. It will take a lot of time. But what I do with Docs42, we've integrated a button here that's generate proposals. And here I have some possibilities to generate a sales proposal. And I'm just going to do a PPTX. I could also generate it. I just need to log in again. I could also generate a document and then send it right away via email to Michaela. So I have lots of possibilities on there. But basically, in an essence, me as the sales rep, I don't need to go into PowerPoint and set up from scratch my presentation. I just click a button, and then here I have my proposal for Adventure CO with the information and data for Michaela, completely personalized, with a forward that contains the products that are related to her project. Some pictures, me in that case in CRM, I'm Claudia's Cloud, so it contains the information about Claudia's Cloud. It has some further information and logos and pictures of some reference customers of us coming from CE. It contains the information. That's what we take, but what we've taken from CRM. And also down here, those pictures you can see that are taken from SharePoint. So we had also set up like a SharePoint project library, so to say, for that customer, and we automatically take some pictures from there. We have some proposed products, so we have different slides for those. We made some calculations, even a special discount is added there. So everything super personalized, some technical specifications like a connection plan, a solar power connection plan is added. That was actually a separate slide stored on SharePoint and inserted into my presentation. And then here's some further information. It's a really nice looking and appealing document that was generated by me as the sales rep just by one click. If I then say, okay, really nice document, I like it, I could just go ahead and then I'm going to say send this one by email. And then what Docs42 does is that it generates the document again and sending it automatically to Michaela. And even I'm going to have a look at you with the at the email, and even the email body is completely personalized and in corporate identity. So we're using that as well. I'm just gonna see if the email has arrived. In the meanwhile, here's my sales proposal. It's for Michaela Mitarbeiter. Here's my picture edit, and then here's our logo edit. This is because the email body can be designed in was designed in Microsoft Word as well. And in the attachment, we have the proposal that was sent to Michaela. And also what we've done for time reasons, I'm just going to tell you here, we've CC'd our sales teams channel. So basically the email has gone to Michaela, but we also have the email with the PowerPoint presentation, what we sent up, available in our Teams channel. And we've set that up with Docs42. So that's one scenario that you can do PowerPoint presentations. But then imagine Michaela phones us and she says, okay, really nice, I really like the presentation. Please prepare a quote for me. So of course, you can also generate quotes and send out quotes automatically with Docs42. And here we have the quote that's related to the opportunity. It's here again, Adventure CEO, Michaela Mitarbeiter. As the customer, we have 3 products here. And yeah, some information. And then here again, it's quite a complex project because we're selling solar panels. We just don't, so just including the product information might not be enough to really set up a compelling quote document, we said to Michaela. So what we've done is also what the project team has done is they, in SharePoint, they've created a folder with that quote ID where everyone that's involved on the project can upload their project information and the project relevant documents that should be included in the quote later on. So let's have a look at that. So here's our quote ID. And then if we go to our SharePoint, to quote modules, we have different folders. That folder, for example, could be generated with a Power Automate, for example, as well. But here we have our quote ID, and here the whole project team was able to upload their documents. And here let's start with SunPower Deluxe. This is like the cover letter with some nice pictures that should propel like the customer to purchase some information about if there's enough sunshine hours. Then we have some technical, the technical team that has calculated how much or how many hours they would need to actually install, how much service is needed. I could even still adjust it here if I wanted to and save it. It also shows you that it's live data. And then here I have my PowerPoint presentation, the connection plan, which we want to have integrated. And then what I talked when we covered the theory as well. Here's like some small incentive for marketing, which we want to use when we send out the quote. So complex project with a lot of like documents and information that should be added to the quote. But once again, me as the salesperson, I don't need to copy and paste anything, set anything up. I just once again go here, go to generate documents and say, for example, return PDF quote. So that Docs42 then automatically once again generates the document for me, returns it to my screen, and I can see all information that's been added. So I'm gonna do it like this to show you. So we have the customer information, Adventure CEO, all of that. And here the first Word document was added. Then down below we have a product table that has like our 3 products and also the pictures inserted. This here was the Excel document which we've seen. And then further down, we have a PowerPoint connection plan. That was the PowerPoint presentation and another Word document. And all of that was done by Docs42 just with one single click. It made a really nice and appealing looking quote for us. I just see that there's a 20% discount. I want to adjust it. That's a bit much. So I'm just going to say this is 5%. But I'm not going to regenerate the document now with the 5% discount because we want the latest document to be there. I'm going to let Power Automate do the job and regenerate the document with the new discount integrated here. But before we have a look at the document, I just want to show you the template as well, how that looks like for this sales quote. So we can store and we can manage our documents from SharePoint, our templates from SharePoint. And I've set up on SharePoint site for Dynamic 365 and my 4 sales templates. And then I can just go here, and here I have my sales quote. And then I'm gonna download it to my PC. I'm gonna open it on the desktop. In Word, and so you can see how the template looks like. And I'm just logging in order to get all the permissions. Yeah. Good. And what we have here now, instead of like the ready document, I have a lot of blue data fields, and those are the Docs42 placeholders. And if I double click one on the right hand side, the data field explorer opens and it tells me where my data field comes from. In that case, it's a CE data source that's called organization, and the field is name. So it's coming from CE. If I click on here, it's called name, but it comes from SharePoint. It's the modules, and it's going to be inserted as the type Word document. So we can see that this was the first Word document which we've inserted. Then also, let's have a look here at our table. That was our product table, and we can see here that here we have one line of data fields, and here we have a gray field with a red circle before that. If I jump to my Docs42 add-in up here in the ribbon, and if I go to automate range, I can see that here we have a repetition in here. So I say, okay, please take that range, and if I have more than one product, please repeat the data fields. Please insert them as for how many products I have. This is how I make an expanding table, as an example. Or down here for the freight, we have a gray field with a question mark, and here we say we have a condition, and here we say please only insert that line if the freight amount is not empty in our system. So we have some conditions here. And now if I want to really have a look at, if I, for example, make adjustments or changes to my templates, I always want to make sure that those adjustments, the template are right, what I want. So I can go and always generate locally as well in my documents. So now what Docs42 is doing, it connected to my CE, and it asks me which documents I want to generate, which quote I want to generate. Here I have all my live quotes. I say solar panels, and I click on generate. And now once again, it's taking my data from CE, it's taking my data from SharePoint, and it's returning the document here back to me in Word, so I can have a look if that's the document I want. So we can see here 3 product lines we have. The freight was not added as it was empty in the system, and the discount is the 5% because I've changed it before. If I had made some changes to the template, it would be uploaded again automatically, and I could use the updated template right away. So for you to know. But let's have a look quickly at our sales quotes. This is where they are stored, and we can see 4 minutes ago a document was generated and stored to SharePoint, and that was done automatically with Flow. So I can't show it to you right now. Not possible to show, but this was basically the same document generated and with Flow. Good. We don't have that much time left, so I'm going to quickly jump into FO and to show you how that setup can look like if you're using Dynamics for FO with Docs42. So I'm going to restart my session, and in that case, I'm going to show you the invoice and how you can generate a really nice looking and appealing invoice with Docs42. So I go to my sales orders, and I'm going to choose this one here. And I go to my invoices. And then here I say for my invoice, I want to view my invoice document. And the ones of you that are working with SSRS know it's big pain to really set up, to do some layouting and designing on their documents. However, with Docs42, it's done really straightforward and easy. We have here our sales invoice here with a table, a dynamic table. Here even a picture is inserted down below, and here the terms and conditions even in landscape mode edit. And I can see here this is in red. I don't want to have this in red, so I can easily adjust it. Also here my templates are stored on SharePoint, and I can say this one I want to open it in the app. And I'm going to make the adjustment that it's not red anymore, but it's black. And then I'm going to regenerate, and then you can see how. So again, you can see how fast we can make changes. If the changes were needed to be done with SSRS, it would take you a lot of time. Let's see, now it's black again. I'm just gonna save it. And then going back here, and then once again, I'm gonna go view, original preview. I could also not only return the document, but also send it directly to the customer. That's also possible with a nice looking document. And here we can see the changes are effective and a nice looking document here. And one last example to show you that, of course, this is also possible for those of you who are using BC. So I'm just gonna move my screen, which is here. Whoops, you can't see it. 1 second. Now you're able to see it. No, that's the pain when you have two screens, but I'm gonna show it to you like this. So in BC, we can, for example, have a job quote. So I'm just gonna look for job. And we have a project for conference room, and I can just say report, and then I can say, please generate my Docs42 job quote. And I will have a really nice and appealing document in that, and in that case, the document contains information from CE and from BC. So once again, we show both. So here's a picture, Megan Bond. I could change it and adjust it, but I won't do it out of time reasons. Like here, the team, that's like the data from BC. The team that's involved on the project is inserted. Here, a nicely formatted table. That table even with pictures coming from CE. And down below, we have like the layouting and the plan. And I could even just quickly adjust it in PowerPoint. If I move my chair to the table, it would be there And then if I regenerate the document, it's effective again. But good. That was just a quick use. So that's it for the demo. And now before we come to the questions and answers, I see that there's one already in there. I'm just going to quickly recap what we had a look at and what the Docs42 document automation is for. So first of all, we've seen that you can really generate intelligent, high quality documents. You can have tables, pictures, calculations, and so on, all of that inserted. Then it saves you a lot of times and it allows you to collaborate, as you can work, for example, on the templates together from Microsoft Teams. You can just have it chatted in the Teams channel, for example. That's possible, and it saves you a lot of time on programming and copy and paste resources. Design in Microsoft Word, excellent PowerPoint, something that business user can do, and the adjustment that's possible. Then the flexibility, it's really flexible and integrates a lot of different data sources. That's one big USB. Then your corporate identity, once again, customer experience, super important. You can have it in your documents as well and use that. And then we're focusing, we're like following the Microsoft and ERP trends. Good, and that's that was my presentation for today, and I see that there are some questions already that came in. The performance, are you seeing compared to SSRS, F&O? Okay, the volume, yes. So we've made tests, and we can we with an invoice, and we've generated 100,000 documents an hour. So high volume is definitely possible with Docs42 as well. What you said there, 10,000 documents. Yeah, we've made tests with 100,000 documents in an hour. And we, for example,
answer your question, Neil. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I can also give an example. We have a customer of ours. They are creating, but I think, I'm not sure if they may be using 2 servers, but they are creating 3 million invoices in a batch. So it's definitely also for high volume transaction, high volume document generations. It's definitely possible. Yeah.
Fantastic. We have another question from Ravinder.
Yeah, the licensing and trial version to get the hands on the product by ourselves and use the same to show in the demo for customers during implementation. Yes, there is a trial version available, so it's a 30-day to try for free. If you want to test right away, just send me an email or fill in the contact form on our website. And so to show, to demo to customers, yeah, if you're a partner, or if you're implementing projects for customers, we have a partner program as well, where you can have Docs42 licenses, where you can show some demos, no problem at all. Licensing, so we have the unlimited approach, where you have 100,000 documents with an unlimited amount of users from an unlimited amount of channels. And then, of course, the cost depends on which systems you would be using it from, how many designers would you have. So if you can give me a little bit more specifics, maybe then separately in an email later on, I'd be happy to discuss the pricing with you and how much it would mean for you. Good.
That sounds good.
Then just quickly, if someone wants to connect later on, here's my QR code for LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a message, add me later on, and thank you. And I'm going to post the website link here as well. And thank you very much for joining and for your questions. And please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. That was, again, an excellent presentation with the demos. I have seen this product in action, and it's one of the great products. And the good thing is it works with a number of first-party app and all the areas of F&O. So that's really, really good. So it's a one element could work with, like, one sorts of implementation could work with a different type of applications.
Thank you.
So thank you, Lisa, for spending your time today with us.